Welcome back, everyone. We have another episode of the Wellthy Woman Podcast today, but I am really excited about today's guest. I'm lucky enough to say that she was my personal trainer when I started 2025. And I came across her through another friend who I watched literally transform her body, her mind, and her personal life. So today I have Roxy. Welcome, Roxy, to the podcast. I want to share a little bit more about her so you guys know what she does. So we're going to get into all the things we always want to know about, which is fat loss, nutrition, how to build up muscle, especially for women. If you are in that like 35 and above age bracket of your life and you just can't seem to lose the weight, but you're always like, trying to, and you're not understanding how to build a muscle simultaneously. So we're really going to get into that. But Roxy's experience is actually incredible. I'm going to get her to share her story. But she is, let's say, a fitness coach, but a lot more than that. Roxy has not only built a 6-figure business, her partner Ryan is actually here doing some BTS, but I'm going to say both of them built a 6-figure fitness business during one of the hardest times of our entire lives, which was COVID. Since then, the business grew. She's really real. She has over 200 students in the program. Is that right, Roxy?
A little bit more, but yeah, we're getting there.
Okay. We're growing, but we're going to get into all of that. So let's just start the episode. Welcome to the Wellthy Woman Podcast, Roxy.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, such an honor to be here. Such a privilege. I'm so grateful. Thank
I'm
you so
honored
much.
to have you here. This is the stuff that I feel like I want to WhatsApp you about, but I get to ask all my questions all in the 45 minutes. It's like a free session. Yay. But how are you feeling today, by the way? How are you? I know you said you're coming back from a funeral and you just came back from South Africa. What's the vibe like right now?
Trying to catch my breath again. We have a lot happening this week. We have athletes competing in just short of a week. Obviously, coming back from a funeral, so we had one of our clients' friends lost his father, and just a lot going on, trying to catch up with the business. And obviously, summer's coming up. We have summer coming up in just 2 months. So
is everyone trying to get in that summer
bod?
bod?
Yep. I think everyone's putting their shorts on and realizing, oh, this is not going up. So a lot of messages, a lot of calls, and just overall just catching up with the girls and realistically just setting the tone for summer for the girls that are already in the program too. So
okay, so a lot on the plate.
Yeah, but grateful.
Yeah, always grateful. One thing I always like to ask women like yourselves that have it all, especially in the fitness world, right? You're really, really disciplined in food and nutrition and then helping other women become the best versions of themselves. Where do you feel like you are still a work in progress?
Ooh,
you didn't see that one coming.
No, I did not. You did not prepare me for that. I think it is the fine line of boundaries versus balance. I think I'm very good at setting boundaries right now, but I don't have any balance.
Do you believe in balance?
Not particularly. I believe more in boundaries than I do in balance. But I think that we need to find a place where the things that matter in your life, like your family, your relationships, your friendships, the things that should be nurtured don't get completely diminished in the process of you building something great. It's something that I preach. And it's something that, because I'm an athlete on top of being a coach, does kind of take over my entire realm. My nutrition goes with me everywhere. It's not a lot of times where if I am prepping for a show or if I have athletes or clients to worry about, that I don't have my containers with me sitting at a restaurant, where I can just let go. So, finding that. And then again, up at 4 o'clock in the morning, back in bed by 11, 12 o'clock at night. And then everything's on repeat, and that goes Monday to Sunday. So there's not a lot of balance yet.
I was going to say, building something great requires sacrifice. And do you feel like, I want to rewind back and take you guys back to your story, because I don't think I've heard it, but I know that COVID was the pivotal moment of where life nutrition, life coaching, everything started, both you and Ryan. And I know he's here, and I want to say that out because I think, especially in the podcast and great women showing up, the truth is partners, family, support system is what makes us these great women, right? So can you share a little bit about your journey from COVID to what you've built now?
I can. So it's quite a hefty process. I'll try to kind of condense it all, but I wasn't doing this full time when I was in South Africa. So I'll just preface all of this by saying that when we moved to Canada, it was all of probably 4 to 6 months before COVID hit. So we were fresh in the country, and then we went straight into lockdown. So When we were in South Africa, we were working in forensics. So that was our primary base. When we moved here, I decided we're gonna completely change our lives and do what we find passionate, what we're so passionate about. We're gonna start a business and recreate ourselves.
So you didn't do this in South Africa?
I did it kind of just on the side. It wasn't my full time. I was a forensic DNA analyst.
So cool.
Analyst, so
I'm sorry, that's so cool. I only see
we
that
were
on
police
TV.
officers, so that's what we did. We were CSIs. We worked in the labs, and so when we moved here, I said like we're just gonna recreate everything. Worked for Good Life to start, so managed to work my way up there. Became a manager there, one of the assistant managers. And I ran a team of coaches there too. So once COVID had hit, I was laid off as well. Ryan was still able to work a little bit more remotely. And I said to him, you know what, like instead of just completely stopping everything, I'm going to take my clients on Zoom. I think I had like maybe 8 of my clients from Good Life working with me on Zoom. And then from there, I noticed, like, okay, I was able to put in the time, the effort. My own coach, he encouraged me as well. He's like, hey, like, do something a little bit more. Went to Sky Fitness is where we worked out of throughout COVID. We were able to connect a lot of people who had a really hard time during COVID. That's where I'll get into the name of life coaching started too, was that people were losing themselves. They were losing passion for things that they were, that they loved every day. And I still hear it. I still hear a lot of people, even till today, say that I've completely lost myself since then. They don't know how to pull themselves.
It's the after effect of COVID. It's still very, very much there.
So people were losing themselves, and we were able to get our clients to work out with doctor's notes in person. So from a distance, we trained with our clients. With masks on, we didn't touch them, whatever it was, obeyed all the laws and the rules and the regulations.
Don't worry, you're not going to get in trouble. You could
Just
tell me off.
And our clients started really thriving again. And then when all the things started lifting, I started noticing how people were saying, like, I started losing the love for myself. And that's where the name LYF, Love Yourself First, came and was born. I said to Ryan one day, I was like, I want to call and have the anchor of our brand to be something that is like about life and how this is part of life. Just how you wake up every day, brush your teeth, your health and your fitness should be just as much of a priority and should be just as much of a second nature as what something like that is. So I don't know, I was just driving one day and I just saying to God, like, yo, I need help. Like, come on.
Yo, where are you?
Yeah, I need it.
Come at me, please.
And then Love Yourself First was just like one of the things. And then something so funny. So when we went to South Africa, everyone was asking us, so where does LYF, like leif, come from? And I was like, leif. In Afrikaans, leif means body.
No.
And that wasn't even something that was like on the top of my mind. Like I didn't even think in Afrikaans because that's not my first language. But everyone was like, that's such a great play on words, especially because you guys are South African. This is so cool. So now we've kind of just been running with it.
Meant to be kind of
moment. Double barrel.
Because that's the hardest part about a business. Sometimes it's like, what do I name it?
Yeah.
And you have to feel it. You have to embody it. And then you get inspiration. Then you build, right? Oh, that's a beautiful story. So you guys built the business as soon as you got here from Good Life coaching to online Zoom. But then
About 6 to 8 months. Yeah.
Okay. But where did the crazy pivot happen from 8 clients to a full thriving, I guess, getting your gym, the private coaching, the training? Did you experience one of those moments where some businesses just go straight to the top in a very short period of time? Or was it a slow build?
A combination of both.
Okay.
So life coaching has been around since 2021, so 4 years. In year 2 was when we started transitioning between the hybrid of online and kind of playing around with the online and the in-person. And then again, my personal coach, I was working out with him one day and he said, like, you need the next level. You have such a passion for what you do. You need to be able to reach more people. He's like, just go fully online and add your in-person as something that's an additive for people to create an experience for them. And from there, I invested in a business coach, which was also with my coach. He's got a I guess like I can't even tell you how many figures fitness business too. And he's super successful. So I learned from his mistakes. And I've never been a learn from your mistakes kind of person. I'm always like, I got to touch the hot stove myself maybe a couple times.
I gotta get burnt.
Yeah. But I did.
Yeah.
And I will say best investment that I ever made, not only for myself, but for my clients. Because for me to be able to give back as much as what I am now and be able to use our social media, I was a shy person. For me to use my social media now as a platform to be able to reach not just one person in an hour, but if I'm able to post a story and I can get 15,000 views or a reel in the span of an hour, like, who am I to not be able to do that? I don't gatekeep knowledge. I try to share as much as I possibly can because there's so much information out there. And I firmly believe that that's what makes people confused.
Yeah. And you're so good at
place.
sharing that information, not just in bite size, but like walking the walk, talking the talk. I was going to say you're the second person on today's podcast that has mentioned the word mentorship and having a mentor, how pivotal it has been for their business. I'm going to switch gears and we're going to go into straight stuff that all the women want to hear. Yes. And I'm going to ask you questions that I think like run on my mind. One of the most common goals almost every woman has is I want to lose the weight. I want to be skinny and I want to be the skinniest version of myself by summer. And you're always like chasing the vacation bod, the summer bod. What's wrong with that thought process, first of all?
I think, first of all, a lot of people chase a very short-term goal and they will do anything. They will run the race. They will run the hamster wheel. They will do the sprint and not really understand what the repercussions of that is long term. So, this is where all the fad diets come in, the keto, the quick fix, doing all the silly things, running, for hours, doing all the cardio. And then they lose a bunch of weight and they're still not happy with the way that they look. So there's a lot of just short-term gratification that people look for. And it's because we live in a world of quick fix gratification, right? Social media and whatever. So this instant gratification has now also become a mindset for a lot of people. So they think, okay, number one, I'm going to go on vacation. I have to lose X amount of weight before I leave. As opposed to, hey, like if I just invested a little bit longer and did this the right way, I could be vacation ready all year round.
But I just want to lose the weight, Roxy. I just want to like be 15 pounds lighter. What are you saying to someone like that? How do we rewire that thought? Is that thought good or bad?
I think what is important is two things. Number one is the scale number. Is it the scale that you're truly chasing? Number one. And if it's really not, that goes into my second thought is if it's not the number, what is it about that 15 pounds that, let's say you looked and you felt your best at 150 pounds. Now I'm saying, is it the scale or what is it about that number that made you feel so great? Is it the way that you fit in your jeans? Is it the way that you felt when you were naked, maybe with your partner? Because I get a lot of that. Women that are too afraid to take their clothes off in front of their partners or hide behind. It's sad, but it's reality, right? A lot of people don't want to be in family portraits. They'll stand right at the back because they don't want to show something simple like their flabby arms or whatever it is. So I try to connect the emotional to what it is. Like, I just want to lose the 15 pounds. Okay, let's get away from the scale. What is it about that number or that feeling that you felt at this number that you felt so good at? How do we get you back there? Because that's what's going to drive you even further than the 15 pounds maybe. Yeah. And I posted it on my social media recently where I was 160 pounds and I was 45 pounds overweight. And I'm at 154 right now, and I'm in the best shape of my life.
Yeah.
That's 6 pounds different, So I try to move away from that scale number, and I try to put an emphasis on that emotional attachment and the progress and the growth that there is with, that's what's going to fill the gap.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being so hyper-focused. When it comes to the fat loss part.
Yeah. Can you break down fat loss? Because if I go on TikTok right now and I search up fat loss, I've seen people like put fat loss in a way where it's easy to explain, and then you see 10 other videos like that, and then you're back to confusion. So like if someone was truly chasing, like, how do I lose the fat, like in the most healthiest and the most great way, how would you describe the equation of fat loss? Is it eating less? Is it hitting a certain number of macros? What is the formula?
I think people overcomplicate fat loss.
Okay.
Fat loss is probably the simplest out of all of them.
Okay.
To put on muscle as a female is far more difficult than losing body fat. You're not going to lose body fat unless you're in a caloric deficit. That's it. I think a lot of people overestimate or underestimate the amount of food that they consume versus the amount of calories that they burn in a day. So, we have all these fancy things. We have Apple Watches, we have Oura rings, we have the Ultra Human rings. We have all of these things that track your output, and we have all of these things that track your input. But realistically, the knowledge is still the gap because, first of all these beautiful trackers that we have a 20% accuracy rate. All of these amazing things that say 0 calories. There are laws to say that if it's within 5 or 10 calories, that by law, they don't have to put the nutrition label on as anything more than a single calorie. So I think that people over and underestimate all of that when it comes to creating a deficit. That's it.
That's it. So fat loss equals to caloric deficit. That's it.
That's
and
it.
You refine as you go, work with someone and understand the detail of what that means.
Exactly.
But for someone to simply understand, that's it. Is there a difference between fat loss and weight loss, or are they the same thing?
Fat loss is losing fat, period.
Okay.
Weight loss on a scale doesn't really account for muscle mass that's lost in a fat loss phase, because you do lose a little bit of muscle mass. When you're stepping on the scale, it doesn't account for your bone density versus my bone density, water weight that's lost. So sometimes you can step on the scale, let's say during a woman's menstrual cycle, I gain 6 pounds in my menstrual cycle. Maybe you don't. That doesn't mean that I gain 6 pounds of fat during that period, right? So I think it's hard to measure fat loss unless you have one degree of comparable, calipers, things like that. So
Okay. I don't know if you answered this question already, but what do you think most women get wrong when it comes to fat loss? Do you find women are doing the same thing before you start training them when it comes to fat loss? What are they usually doing? Cardio. I was just going to say, are they just running on the cardio?
That's number one. That's the first thing. I think, and this is something that we spoke about before, is a very, very common misconception with women is that weight training is going to make me jacked. I probably 9 times out of 10 when I have a conversation with somebody is
Still.
Okay. Still.
I feel like there's so much education around that, and it's being taught more and more that we should weight train as a form of being strong. And
I always use myself as a pivotal example. I tell my girls, push yourselves in the gym when it comes to your resistance training. And I ask them, have you seen me train? Have you watched videos of me squatting, leg pressing? And then I will ask them genuinely, because a lot of them, when I ask them for inspiration pictures, they'll send me pictures of myself or some of my coaches or girls that have more muscle mass than me.
Yeah.
And I will tell them, do you really think that they got this lean with this amount of muscle, lifting very, very small weights, or not challenging themselves in the gym or not pushing themselves to failure? So whether you're 20 years old or 65, you should be resistance training.
How many times a week should you be resistance training?
I would say as a bare minimum 3 times.
Okay.
I think that more than 60 to 70% of our ladies do exceptionally well on 4 times. But that again, that goes to your schedule.
Yeah, schedule, age too. I was going to get into that because I know depending on what age bracket you're on, there's different exercise and different thing that your body needs. I have $1 million question for you that you probably get asked all the time. You're probably going to answer in 2.5 seconds. But the $1 million question is, can you build muscle while losing fat?
Absolutely. 100%. 100%.
Okay.
So body recomposition, that's the word for it. And that's only because of resistance training. So this is why I put the emphasis on resistance training, is because long term, your body will thrive with more muscle. Why? Because muscle can burn calories at rest, fat cannot. So if you have me at 150 pounds with, let's say, being hypothetical, 12% body fat, and I have far more muscle than, for example, maybe you at 150 pounds who is at 30, 40% body fat. My basal metabolic rate is far higher, which means that my capacity to be able to eat more and burn more fat simultaneously and that's if I have more muscle, is far higher than somebody who doesn't when you're at a higher body fat percentage. So pushing the resistance training during a fat loss phase is something that's super important, because you also do have a drop off in muscle during that period. So you want to make sure that you're not maximizing it. And then going slow, don't put a timeline on it. Just
Fucks you
continue.
up. I'm telling you.
Just go at it. This is what, go at it forever. I can like be dead when you're in the grave. Like stop when you're in the grave. Your health isn't something that you stop worrying about in a year from now. Right. And having a great physique is just, I want to say, the overall result of what you're doing consistently over years and years and years. And even me, like working with my coach for the last 5 years, it's taken me to be able to go from dieting at 700 calories to now 2,000, right? Because I have taken that time and I've worked on myself and I've built my muscle up and I've retaught myself how to train better too.
Yeah. Body fat. Where do most women lie in body fat? Because I know our body fat is more than men, correct? And is there an ideal body fat that we should be at that's healthy? Or is that all personal? You're smiling.
I think it's personal. I prefer to see most of my ladies closer to like the 20-ish percent, I would say percentile over there. Most people look at female bodybuilders and they think they're like 4 or 5%, 8% body fat, where most of them are like probably closer to 13, 14%. But I mean, we still have to have a good amount of calories and a good amount of body fat around our bodies to continue our menstrual cycles, to have babies and stuff like that. So I would say like anywhere between 18 and 23 is probably like the healthy.
Is it important to have that type of body fat? Can you be strong and...
You can be lean all year round. I think that this is also a misconception. You can be lean all year round. I have been in this industry for a very long time, and that is something that a lot of people say, like, you can't be that lean all year round. It's not healthy, blah, blah, blah. I know people who are leaner than me all year round that have had multiple children. Their health markers come back incredible, but that it can also be, genetics and just years and years and years of compacting and compounding those habits and stacking them year after year and just finding what works really well for them.
Can you just do strength training and muscle building and still lose the fat?
Well, that would still be body recomposition. If you're losing body fat while you are gaining muscle, let's say, for example, like you have 3 stages. You're either in a deficit, where you are focusing on fat loss, or you're at maintenance or slightly below maintenance, where the goal is that you can build muscle at maintenance. But if you're at maintenance, the goal is that you're not going to be changing. You're strength training to maintain what your body looks like, and you're doing this certain amount of cardio, eating a certain amount of calories to maintain what you look like. Or you're in a slight surplus or a deeper surplus than what your maintenance is. And that would be for the purpose of gaining a lot of muscle, which does come with a little bit of body fat increase, depending on how deep your surplus truly is. I would say what you're asking, the most ideal spot to be in then would just be at a point of maintenance or slightly below, where you are still able to enjoy a healthy amount of calories closer to your maintenance. Your focus is building muscle. And as you're building muscle, organically, you're losing a little bit of body fat at the same time. You cannot just replace body fat with muscle. If that's part of the question.
I know it was kind of confusing my question, but
does it make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Okay.
What do you think women in their 30s, and 30s is so broad, but like early 30s versus late 30s should be doing when it comes to strength training?
Nothing different.
No. Okay, because I've heard otherwise. I've heard like, if you're closer to your 40, you should be doing this strength training. But if you're in your early 30s, you should be doing that. So is there an age where that shift happens, where they should be doing something different in terms of their workout and training, like in their 40s, for example, should be different than 30s?
I think what's important is the starting point and when you start. So, for example, I have a client who is 10 days out from her very first bodybuilding show. She's 44 years old.
Oh, wow.
And she looks immaculate. And sorry, ladies, but she's probably in the best condition out of the 4 ladies that I'm getting on stage.
Really? Why?
She trains hard. And don't get me wrong, she had a tough time in the beginning when we started working together, just with her nutrition and just like overall, sticking to things and caving to her sweet tooth and cravings and things like that. And this is where the mindset shift came, coming from a lifestyle to an athlete transition when it comes to mindset and how we reinforce that and how important that is. She looks impeccable. She looks incredible. And I think she's close to 100 pounds lost already.
Wow.
She's 44 years old, man. And she's not doing anything different in terms of how hard I push her and how hard Ryan will push her, training her on the gym floor. She also uses the same supplements, creatine, protein, as my 24-year-old that's competing.
Do genetics play a part in this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But you can be genetically gifted and not get the same results as somebody who's putting in
The work.
the work.
That's life. Okay, I want to shift over to nutrition.
Yes.
How can women understand nutrition better, build healthier relationship with food, which is, I feel like, an ongoing journey for most women. In fact, our last podcast guest really delved into this and just the mindset that happened between breakdown and breakthrough with her body. Do you see that often? And like, how can we shift around that healthy eating, healthier relationship with our food if you had to like dumb it down?
That's a great question. And I don't know if I've ever shared my story with you before.
No.
I've spoken about it on a podcast with my coach as well before. And I actually had a really big problem with binge eating. And this is something that really made me even more passionate about helping other women. Because before starting bodybuilding or even being a coach, my biggest driving force was confidence. So when I started our business, I wanted to give that confidence back because I knew that's what my fitness had given me. And when I was able to overcome that binge eating, I wanted to give that back to our females too, because a lot of people come to us. I think probably 9 out of 10 clients that we work with either have a binge eating problem or a very unhealthy relationship with food, or they'll starve throughout the day because they're busy. Maybe they're an entrepreneur. They don't know how to find balance, and then just completely delve in the entire cupboard at 9 o'clock at night. And then, then that creates a hamster wheel of, okay, well, I'm going to starve tomorrow so I can make up for what I did yesterday. Or I'm going to go do 2 hours of cardio. I've been there. I'm going to go do 2 hours of cardio so that I can make up for the extra 2,000 calories that I ate in chocolates and chips and cookies the night before. And then they starve themselves the next day and go right back to the same cycle. So
yeah, how do we break that, the hamster wheel?
Probably the hardest thing. I think the important part is that you have, like, most of my clients come to me at a very broken place. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't know how to move out of that until they get there. Breaking that, it starts off simple. Find your triggers and find out what is creating the cycle, what starts the cycle. If you're an entrepreneur and you know that time is something that you struggle with and you can afford to, maybe dive into a meal prep service where they can create balance for you, doing things like that, diving more into whole foods, like cutting out processed foods. That's one of the biggest things because those things also create triggers. They have a very high dopamine return. You know that just looking at ice cream and pizza and things like that signals your brain the same way as eating it.
Wow.
So this is why I tell my girls that compete, don't look at that crap on social media because it triggers the same kind of short-term dopamine release that you do actually when you eat it. So those types of things. So eliminating that and speaking about it. I did everything that I did when I was binging in my car alone.
Wow.
Quietly under the closet. He had no idea. Ryan had no idea I was doing that. And like, I've explained this a couple of times. Like I would binge eat like 6-7 protein bars in a row. Like that doesn't even taste good. But like for me, the trigger was being in control and knowing that I never had anyone there to tell me, you can't do this. I was in control in that moment. So nobody could take that from me. So it wasn't even about the food at that point. So I think that figuring out the triggers is probably one of the most important things.
How many times did you relapse before setting on course? And if someone's struggling with binge eating, how do you get back on course after a relapse, right? Like you'll be good for a while because you've got that motivation and you're like, I'm going at this. And then comes 2 months and then you binge eat again. Is it okay to do that? It's normal to do that and you get better with time? Or
Yes.
Okay.
You get better with time.
Okay.
I tell this to my clients all the time. I'm not asking for perfect because it's very easy to be quote unquote perfect in the beginning. Like you said, like when you're motivated and the energy is high and everything is shiny and sparkly and brand new, and it's all within arm's reach. And just look for progress, even if that means like 0.01% today. What can you do today to build on? So what can you do today that you can build upon that tomorrow will look a little bit better? So if I have a client that comes to me at 250 pounds and they're eating out 7 days a week, okay, maybe this week we're going to eat out 6 days.
That's so manageable and such a nice way to not feel like it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like most people, I do all or nothing, but in
Especially
reality,
entrepreneurs.
yeah, you see that, right? Yeah, we're wired like that. But in reality, the more I talk to people in all aspects of business and life, it's that steady, consistent growth over and over again. Which brings me to my question around, are there specific, I don't want to say diet, but foods that we should be incorporating in our daily diet? So like, growing up in school, this is how much grains and this is how much protein. But like if you had to simplify, in a day, get this amount of not even carbs, but like carbs, fats, and what else?
Protein, calories,
yeah.
fiber.
All of that.
Yeah.
How would you simplify that for someone that's not even close to on their fitness journey, but they're just looking to start, and we're starting with nutrition?
First and foremost, my first recommendation would be everything that goes on your plate, whole foods. If it doesn't come out of the ground, or if it wasn't, it's a horrible way to say it, but if it wasn't slaughtered, it's not a whole food. If it comes in a package and it's processed, it's probably something that we need to stay away from. Okay. So whole foods, number one. When it comes to creating, thermogenesis, which is just heat in your body, and promoting fat loss and muscle sparing, protein is the first thing. So I would normally just say a gram per pound of body weight. So a 130-pound person can get away with 130 grams of protein in a day. And
that's a full-time job, right? Like you get that a lot. That was my next question, like the big P, like how do you tackle eating enough protein? And that's one question I'm going to ask you.
Whole foods, meat sources. And you can get it from Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken, beef, salmon, fish, shrimp, tofu, tempeh. Like
this goes on.
There's protein in everything that we consume. Not everything, but most animal sources that we consume. And then there's protein alternatives. So whey protein, beef protein, collagen powders. They've even started making like egg white powder now.
Yeah.
So you can just add that into your smoothies and stuff too, so you don't even taste it.
I saw something else. Oh, bone broth, chocolate bone broth with like 20. I saw some recipe. This girl was like, "Oh, it's amazing." I'm like, chocolate bone broth, but it had like 30 grams of protein. I was like, yeah, there couldn't have been an easier time to get this much protein into your system. Are there specific foods that women should be eating that are good for us, like healthy fats, or like eggs versus, more meat versus more beans? Do you find that? You're smiling.
No, I think that that's also a very complicated question because there is so much information out there. I always say that the best diet is the one that you're going to stick to. And the best way to eat is the one that is going to be sustainable for you in the future. Whether you like keto, you like high carb, you like low carb, like pick something that you love, that you genuinely enjoy. I hate the word diet. I don't tell my clients, like, this is your diet. We're creating healthy habits. You are deciding to change your health choices, which means that when you go out to a restaurant, you're not telling people, oh, I don't eat ice cream anymore because I'm on a diet. I've decided that I don't want to eat refined sugar anymore because I'm making better choices.
That's so empowering.
So it moves away from this crazy word diet, because diet culture is such a big thing, as opposed to like constantly having to tell, oh, you're still on that diet? Oh, you don't drink anymore? You're still on that diet? Like, no, I just decided that I don't want to drink because I don't like the way that it affects my body. I don't like the way that I feel 2 days later still. And so I've just decided I'm going to make better choices.
Yeah, there's no comeback to that, because I've done it before too. You tell someone you're on a diet and almost immediately there's always like an auto response. Yeah. Oh yeah, that diet, or like just the word diet itself. Going to diets, what are some fads that you absolutely do not put put yourself behind? Like, is there a certain fad or trend that you're seeing in the fitness
I just
world?
don't keep up. I just don't keep up with the diets and the
Okay.
fads and the trends. And for a while, and I think it's still going, the carnivore diet. I eat a lot of meat in my off season. My previous off season, I was eating 6 eggs a day, 2 meals of full grass-fed steak, bone broth. I was eating all the nuts, avocado, seeds, chicken, salmon. I was eating everything. I was eating potato, rice, pasta, sushi on the weekend. So, it's I was enjoying it, and it's something that I tell my clients too. You're going to get to a state where your body can do that and can handle that. There's a little bit of sacrifice in the beginning. Get past that. Once you get past that, now slowly we can start reintroducing more of the quote unquote fun things. Maybe this week you're going to go out and have a slice of pizza. But you've been eating pizza for the last 10 years. So let's pull back a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's pull back a little bit. We're not going to do keto unless you like to eat high fats. Then, okay, I'll incorporate a few things that are more high fats. I have clients that prefer eating high fats as opposed to carbohydrates. I think you like the carbs more.
Yeah,
You like
I was going to
fats
say
too.
you did that with me, right? I was like, Roxy, I can't do this. And you're okay, babe. Like, what do you like? And I'll adjust accordingly. And that felt really, really good as a client working with you. Again, I want to use the word empower really, because you don't want to feel like you're behind and your teacher is telling you did something wrong versus being able to lean on them. And that's why I really liked your program and I really support it. When women are coming onto your program and if someone's interested, what are some things that you feel like in your coaching program that you do with women that you've been able to see like drastic, stable results in women? And is that mostly the fitness workout or the mindset work or the nutrition? Is it all? What's the difference?
I think that when people come into our program, they already know what the meat and potatoes are of the program. They already know, number one, what our approach is, because I never in this world ever thought that this would be a compliment, but people have told me that I'm exactly the same on social media as I am in person.
It's a compliment.
Which is a compliment nowadays.
Yeah.
So they know when they're coming in to our program what my approach is going to be, and my nonsensical, no bullshit kind of approach, and that I really do hone in on the mindset behind growth, because I'm a huge believer and I'm a huge preacher of where the mind goes, the body follows. And if you're constantly telling yourself, I can't do this, I can't do that, then okay, what you tell yourself is what you're going to do. So if you can't follow a diet and you're constantly telling yourself, I can't work out like this, I can't eat this, or I can't follow the diet, I can't stick to it, you're already setting yourself up for failure. So they know that when it comes to the approach. And then just a combination of being realistic with how we goal set with them, and not being restrictive when it comes to the time frame of what we're doing. Yes, I do give a little bit of a time frame when we start, just to say like, hey, in a perfect world, you can get from point A to point B in X amount of time. And this is without anything kind of life happening or Ramadan or, you know, like the things that come in between, which is fine. But I think that when people make peace with knowing that they're in it for the long haul, as opposed to just the 30 weeks that they have a coach for, then their means of progression becomes so much more accelerated, because they're excited that, okay, I hit my first 10 pounds maybe, or yo, I just threw out my first pair of jeans. I'm going to go buy myself like 4 sizes smaller. Can you imagine what I can do in another 12 weeks and another 12 weeks and another 12 weeks? And my goal is never to keep my clients forever. My goal is to embark so much knowledge on them that they're able to sustain it. And if they stick around, it's because they're still growth focused and they want to continue and they want to know what's next and what's more.
Curious to know about the confidence factor here when you watch someone transform. Like, do you watch someone come in and they're like,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You know why? Because remember I mentioned to you in the beginning, when I was younger, before I started working out with a trainer, I was 15 when I got my first trainer.
Wow.
And all I wanted was just a good, juicy booty and a small waist for my end of year grade 12 dance. That's all I wanted. But I was also that girl that wouldn't go to the grocery store by myself without my mom, even up until probably when Ryan and I met 10 years ago. I was like, can you come with me to the shop? I don't want to go by myself. It was him that pushed me into competing, and that's when I really, really fell in love with with working out. So for me to see our clients go from hiding behind their families in pictures to being front and center, for me, like one of the biggest, I have two. The first one is how some of my female clients will tell me that they bought new lingerie and they'll send me pictures in it. I bought this for my husband, or I bought this for my boyfriend. And like, for me, that's okay. That's a little bit TMI, but I love it.
Yeah.
Send it to me. It's like, it's such a great inspiration to see you 60 pounds down with a confidence of like, a 15, 16-year-old teenager that's going through puberty. And the second thing is when doctors tell my clients that they're never going to have kids and they message me and they're like, I'm pregnant. It's mind-shattering. I've had this 3 times since we've worked with a couple of clients. I actually just got a message this week to say that one of my clients are pregnant, and she's been with us for 2 years. Her husband actually went through a transformative process with us too. He wasn't overweight, but his health was something that he wanted to put on the forefront of their marriage, because they knew that they were going to get married. They weren't married yet. And that they knew that they weren't going to have kids. And so she messaged me and she's like, I'm finally pregnant.
Wow, that's, I don't know, I'm speechless. I didn't even know that those two correlated so intensely. Like, that's the first time I'm hearing that. Do you find or think that one of the greatest gifts women can give to themselves is going through a fitness journey? Because I've heard that the transformation, the discipline, the confidence that transpires through that journey is unmatched.
I do. I don't think that you have to be an athlete to have a transformative experience. I think that the transformative experience, there's not a lot of people who are successful on their own. And I can definitely say that for myself. I do owe, I would say, 100% of my success to my mentor. I know we spoke about this before. But he was the one person that, when I didn't believe in myself, number one, was already behind me and was like, you're capable of so much more. Push. Do more. You push yourself, and you're not going to break this glass ceiling to reach the next one unless you break through it. And only you can do that. So having my mindset shift into breaking through glass ceilings with every single one of my clients, including myself too, to be able to hit the next transformative experience of my own, the next. And somebody's transformative experience could just be saying no to a glass of wine, whereas somebody else's transformative experience can be like, I haven't drank in a year, To
each their own.
Right? So it's very different for a lot of people. But I think over and beyond, like, just health in general.
Yeah.
When your health is a top priority, I say to my entrepreneurs all the time, what are you working so hard for if your health is on the back burner?
I'm there right now. I feel every word. It's so easy to, and I was thinking about this before you came in, and I'm like, I had the time when I started with you, the energy, the time, but it's often when there is no time, when everything, that's where you let go of your health the most, right? Because you're chasing the thing that's most important while neglecting actually the most important thing. And that's why I was like, having Roxy here will be like so great. It's a struggle for a lot of us, and that's real life. What is one thing that you wish more women knew about fitness?
I think it's just the mindset and the growth behind it. I think a lot of people come into our program expecting a professional rep counter, a meal plan or a diet, and a workout program. I don't think that they expect the bond that they're going to create, the community that they're gonna have, the support. I've seen beautiful friendships blossom and get created and blossom through our community. Because unfortunately, the closest people are not the ones that support you. I think that's something that's massive too, is that they always think that their partners are going to be the biggest support, and sometimes they're one of the biggest hindrances. But I think that overall, I think that there is so much more in the fitness journey when coming into a program with us. It's about the combination of how everything gets affected in your life. And when you feel good, everything in your life thrives. Your business can thrive. Our entrepreneurs know that for sure. You're a better mom. You're a better wife. You're better to yourself. The way that you show up looks very different. If I think of how I used to walk into a room with my shoulders slouched forward and my head down and my tail between my legs versus the way I step into a room now.
I saw you. I saw you come in today.
The way that I step into a room now. And unfortunately, we do live in a world where people, they do place their first impressions on, the first 3 seconds that they see you and then they meet you. And
I think first impressions are very important.
They are.
They're
And the way that somebody is perceived in the first couple of seconds or even minutes of speaking to them, if they are in shape and they are fit and they are healthy, is very different to somebody who is not. Because with those things is naturally associated, oh, she must have crazy discipline. Oh, she must work out. Oh, she must be doing this. So
there's a level of respect.
Absolutely.
That comes
I
with
didn't want to
it.
say it like that, but you demand
100%.
a totally different level of respect walking into a room when you're in shape and you're healthy. And it's not so a matter of walking in with abs, because I don't walk around with abs 12 months out of the year. But it's what this lifestyle has given me that allows me to walk into a room and allows everything else in my life to thrive, because I do walk into a room with a very different level of confidence, and I am able to check myself if that is not right, because
Last question. I ask every guest this. What is a wealthy life for Roxy?
What is a wealthy life for me? I think I can say this on behalf of both myself and Ryan, because I feel like we come as a unit now. I just want to continue. I feel like that this passion that I have burning inside of me is God-given, first of all. I don't know where it came from or when it really started to burn so brightly inside of me. Wealth to me is not and never has been the dollar that is attached to how big my community is, our community is, how big our gym is, how big our brand is. It's about the impact that we make on every single client's life. If I have a client that walks out of a program and says, I didn't get anything from that, I take that personally. If I have a client leave after 5 years, I take that personally. So wealth for me is being able to just walk in a God-centered, God-filled, passionate life with my people, and this community is my family.
That is a wealthy life.
Obviously, there's other things that come with it, but I want to be able to share this with my actual family.
Yeah.
And have them here and have them part of it. And
yeah.
I want to see my family thriving in their most healthy, balanced, confident versions of themselves. And
yeah. Thank you.
Tell
Thank you for
everyone.
this. Ladies, if you're listening to this, Roxy is not only an incredible trainer, wealth of knowledge, but I'm hoping you're going to give our community a little code, maybe that if there's any woman interested in joining the programs, you can go find her at.
Lots of places. If you want to go to my personal, it's at Roxy McLachlan on Instagram. Most of our content is shared on our life coaching. So that's at LYF coaching _ on Instagram. And then we have our life coaching HQ _ which is our newly opened headquarters gym, which you have been to in Oakville. We are 6 months now.
Oh, wow. Yay. Big milestone.
For 6 months. But you can just message me on Instagram, on any of the platforms. And
she does message back, guys.
I do.
The DM goes through and it comes back and it is her. Thank you so much, Roxy, for coming on today.
Thank you for
You know where to find her, and we'll link it all on the show notes. Thank you.
Thank you.